No.
Why don't we do a take two?
Wait a minute, let's start again. Hello.
Hi, this is Ron Vodry.
This is Alex Nussbaum.
This is Jason Fraser.
This is Matt O'Brien.
Hey, this is Ray Zwicker.
All right, world. My name is Cal Post.
Guys, this is Christina Walkinshaw.
This is Eddie Delaseppe.
This is Adrian Spencer.
My name is Timo.
And you're listening to the Julien Dionne
You're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
Who am I talking to? What am I doing?
Julien Dionne Comedy Hour.
You're listening to the...
Comedy hour. See, I took the word out comedy. Changes the meaning completely, doesn't it?
Days and not really, I'm overworking, but days in the holidays. Happy holidays. You're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
And aren't we all?
Now broadcasting live and totally uncensored, from Lemon Press Studio in the beautiful Gatineau Hills.
Project. I was like half asleep on the couch and now I'm projecting.
Hey everyone, this is Christian Potenza.
This is K. Trevor Wilson.
This is Jean Paul, a.k.a. the Island Hipster, hashtag hipster business.
This is Steph Tola.
Hey, this is Jake Goldsby.
This is Sky Wallace.
Hey everybody, this is Erica Sigurdsson, aka Ricky Siggs.
Okay, hello. Hi.
This is Howard Wagman.
Hey, this is Peter Anthony, the PA system.
This is Matt O'Brien.
Some people that's my rap name.
This is Jen Grant and you're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
Show. You and me belong, just like the flowers, laughing all day long. People, I need you loose. Sing a little song, then take a shower. Julien Dionne.
It's a show. It's not an hour, it's a show. It's okay.
Such a beautiful waste of time.
Welcome to the show. Was that on the whole time? I don't know if we were on camera the whole time with with an overlay that said Matt Carter, or if I just did that right now for a split second. Regardless,
It's a lie. Matt Carter is not here today.
No. Matt Carter is not here on the phone right now with us live. But today, we do have a guest. First, let me get the business out of the way. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Julien Dionne Show with Jen Grant. That's right. She's here. We're here. Who's she? The cat's mother. Coming at you, broadcasting from Lemon Press Studios in the beautiful Gatineau Hills. Hi. Wakefield. Yeah, buddy. We, recording this on a Monday, September 13th, 2021, episode 431. Our 431st episode. Isn't that crazy?
Wow,
It's a lot of episodes over a lot of years. You can go find all of those episodes, by the way, available at the Julien Dionne Show with Jen Grant. All of the versions of this podcast since 2014 with incredible guest interviews and such. Mariah, are you Mariah or Yoko with Jen Grant? Sigurda. There's a lot of stuff on the backlog catalog, also available on Apple Podcasts.
Is there any way to
So leave a review.
Play a clip of the Mariah or Yoko sometime?
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll play some clips.
That'd be fun, because that's a really fun segment.
Actually, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll play some clips. We'll play some segments. Yes, well, once we can start having people in studio again, we'll start doing the Are you Mariah or Yoko? I suppose we could do... here I am again with Matt Carter on the phone. He's not on the phone.
Why?
I don't know. I keep hitting the wrong button. We could bring Are You Mariah or Yoko with Zoom, but...
Oh my God, that'd be fun.
I think Is it possible? I mean, I'm sure. I just haven't really thought it out, but the premise of the
Well, couldn't
don't
we
you
get them to?
Why don't you
just put it
explain the
on their
premise
phone?
of Are You Mariah or Yoko, Jenny?
Okay, so the idea is that when you're singing you're listening to your a really great song and you love it and you get really into it and then you sing it and you have your headphones on. You think you sound really, really good because you can't hear your own voice. You're just assuming that it sounds incredible, but then what does it really sound like? So who sounds better, basically, singing like that? So if we were to choose a song like
because in the car or with music, I sound like, if I'm singing Pearl Jam, I sound exactly like Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I could take over for him if anything happened to him. That's how good it sounds in the car. But then you clip just the vocal track and it's horrific. It's nothing like it. Did you remember a few years?
So then what we would do is we would the guest would be able to pick a song. We'd give them choices. Here, pick a song out of this 100 most popular songs, or what's your favorite song to do that to? And I would always give them the advantage. Like, go ahead, pick your song that you like. So, Jules, if you were the guest, what would you pick?
I would pick, let's see. Well, sticking with Pearl Jam, we'd go...
just because we're sticking with the theme. Not that would be your decision.
Yeah, we'd pick a Pearl Jam song.
Daughter?
Sure, Daughter, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd pick that, and then we should demonstrate right now.
Okay, sure.
Really?
I'm down.
Do you have earbuds close by?
No, but we could do it in a way that... How could we do this?
I could go get earbuds. Or we could do it tomorrow.
We could do it.
Want to do it tomorrow?
Yeah, well, we'll do it tomorrow because we have to do the Daily Dose, and today we have a guest. Hold on. I wanted to preview this too. This was
And now, Julien Dionne presents Are You Mariah or Yoko? Where we find out from each of your celebrity guests, is it vocal range or vocal strain?
So good.
Oh, that would be funny to actually pick a Mariah or Yoko song.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. We'll play some clips. But anyway, all episodes of all 430 previous episodes available, as I said, on the Julien Dionne Show with JenGrant.com or on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform, wherever podcasts are made available. And by the way, if you're listening on Apple, please leave a review. It makes all the difference in the world. If you have an iPhone, you've got that purple app. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What are you waiting for?
And as you know, we do the show. A unique property of this show is that we do it live. So we'll do it live. Fuck it. It's a Bill O'Reilly, vintage Bill O'Reilly clip. Anyway, we do it live. So you can interact with Jenny on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and smash that like button. All right?
Oh, that's not right.
And if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and give us a share. Today, as I mentioned, we have a guest from Food and Beverage Atlantic, a sommelier, Tammy Brideau. And that's always weird when French, you say, I'm French, yet I'll say French words with an English accent. Sommelier. Same as so Tammy, I met when my first job into comedy, when I quit my day job for comedy, my first restaurant job. She was the sommelier at Rouge. See, even Rouge, I say with an English accent. Rouge. At the Rouge.
Do you feel pretentious if you do that or something?
At the Rouge? Well, it's kind of like that thing where you're like mozzarella bruschetta. No, I know, but I'm French. I should just say it the French way. Instead, I put on an English accent.
No, I know what you're doing. I just wonder, even though you're French.
Am I over-explaining?
Do you feel like if you're speaking to English people, you're like showing off, like being a show-off?
Maybe.
Like pretentious?
Maybe. We're getting to the bottom of it. My pretentiousness is preventing me from letting my wings flap.
Okay, I'm actually asking you. Do you think you do that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Mr. Ham It Up?
Yeah. Ham it up.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We were like, I don't know. I do this. And it's like, DJ,
you sound like that Kristen Wiig character from when they play Password or whatever. The password is... Do you remember?
Yeah.
She plays that classic of
That
vintage Hollywood
password,
actress.
the way you just did the password reminds me of
The password is
Jim Carrey. He does that.
what? That voice?
He's in a movie, and if anyone knows what I'm talking about, please comment. You're watching live. He goes, the password is right in the guy's ear. Is it Cable Guy?
The password is. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And it's all wet. It's like
yeah, it is the Cable Guy.
It's like
That's
a good movie.
It's a great movie. Great movie. Eddie, did I? Yes, I did say our guest. Okay, so she'll be joining us. In about 15 minutes or so. Excited to catch up. We've known each other for a long time and haven't chatted in a while. So we'll do that shortly. I had we had a good weekend. Ate like garbage this weekend. Oh my God. Saturday night we had a full summer night. We had barbecue and
That wasn't garbage.
I ate like a dozen mellows.
Well, I thought you meant dinner, because dinner was really healthy.
Dinner's always good, but it's the stuff I eat from the periph of my meals that are not good.
Like 12 marshmallows, but
12 marshmallows, chocolate, like at first, and it started off s'mores. I made like 3 s'mores right away. Bang,
You
bang,
did?
bang. Yeah, 3 got 3 right away. Then I'm like, I was sick of it. So then to cleanse the palate, ate a raw mellow. Just a raw marshmallow to cleanse. And then I'm like, I would have another, but I don't want the whole thing, so I'll just do just a piece of chocolate and a marshmallow. I don't want the graham cracker. Then again, I'm like, that was too sweet, so I'll switch it up. Now I'll do a marshmallow, but I'll really burn the outside, that black layer on the outside, just to switch it up, and then where that black skin peels off and you still have a wet mellow in the middle. And so I did all variations of it, but a good dozen marshmallows. It's so gross. And
you overdo it sometimes.
Overdo it, but back when you're young, you can eat any time of day and go to bed no problem.
Yeah.
You eat 12 marshmallows before bed, you feel like shit at 37. Not that it's old. I'm not old or anything. I just mean like you just can't eat like you used to.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, eh? Like, why is that?
Yesterday, I don't know. Your system just digests things. I'm like, this is going to be a problem. I just know all night it's going to suck. Like, and last night, same thing. I had A&W on my way back. It was so crazy. I went to do a show yesterday at 5 o'clock in Montreal. And I was just thinking of the time I spent in my car versus the time I spent on stage. 12 minutes at a comedy club in Montreal, 2 hours each way, four plus hours in my car.
So weird.
I left here. I was in Gatineau, so 25 minutes from home. In my head, I'm like, this would be 2 sets right now. I've done 2 sets. And I still had a 2-hour drive.
It's crazy.
And, but so...
I got you beat, though.
What's that?
I went to the Middle East.
Yes.
And I did 15 minutes.
That is crazy.
Well,
15 minutes.
I did 15 minutes a few times.
Oh, you did? You had more than one show in the Middle
Yeah.
East? Oh. I just had one in the Middle East, and it was 45 minutes.
Well, there was a lot of other people on our show.
Yeah. How many shows did you had like a full thing of people touring? We were just we were just 2 comics and a band.
Yeah, we had a step dancer fiddle player who I still am friends with. She's really nice. Stephanie Cadman, really talented.
You're still friends with her?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't we go see a play in...
And
I still have that shirt from that night.
oh yeah, and remember we went to a play and Julien was dressed like a bum, and then he's like, "Oh no, I didn't realize."
What was I wearing that I felt like I was like a bum again?
I don't know, but it was very ultra cash, and so we got to the place, and you said, "Oh God, I can't go in wearing this." That's never happened before. Now you're like the opposite. You're overdressed.
I know.
So then we went into a store and bought you a respectable outfit. Nothing too fancy, and it wasn't even fancy.
That wasn't even fancy what we bought. We bought like a button-up skater shirt. Like it was like at West 49 or something that I went shopping.
I think you were wearing like a like
you're not shopping for your formal when you go into West 49. As a grown adult, it feels also weird as a grown adult to shop at West 49, but and then what did I do? Did I just throw out my stuff in the garbage? What did I do?
Or I think we put it in the bag that your stuff was sold,
right. and just left it in the car.
It ended up being a nice shirt. You still have it?
I've worn that shirt on commercial shoots, TV shoot, like so many times, and I've had that. Well, this was like 6 years ago.
At least
7, 8 years ago, 20 years ago, 45, 50 years ago, 100 million years ago.
You okay?
But I wore it on Le Sens du Punch with Ryan Doucette. That was 3 years ago, and it was an old shirt at that point. And I was just at Magog when I went in June there to do a TV thing, and Ryan was on, and we were just hanging out in my hotel room. I put my shirt on. He's like, "Oh, you have that shirt still?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do." Just that same shirt everywhere.
I know, but it's sad to let some shirts go.
I know, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine, but there is something weird with someone pointing out something you were wearing 4 years ago.
I know.
Oh, you still have that shirt? I was like,
yeah, but what's wrong with that? I don't know.
I don't know. Society dictates that for some reason should be shamed into shopping.
Shame yourself into shopping spree.
Hi, we're shopaholics. Jen Grant and Julien Dionne. I have to commit. Today's my last day drinking coffee.
Whoa! Great.
I know.
Great.
It is because tomorrow I'm going to the dentist, so I want a fresh start. They're going to get right in there. They're going to clean everything.
Oh, here we go.
Clean, fresh mouth. I don't want to taint it with acidic black coffee espresso. So today...
Oh, brother.
Let me see that eye roll again. So today is my last day. I have been weaning. Except today I've had two. I've been keeping it to one.
And you had 2 already today?
Yeah, just because it was my last day, I thought, you know what? Go with a bang.
You're ridiculous.
So I have been keeping it to espresso, 1 ounce, 1 shot of Nespresso a day. And today or tomorrow, today's the last. Today it stops. It ends. It's over.
Are you gonna go decaf or don't even? No, because that'll stain too.
Yeah.
It's about staining now. Okay, so now your thing is about staining.
Yeah, I know. It's acidic first, staining. I have weird coloring on this screen. On this one.
Wendy says she has a collection of retired shirts that mark her lifetimes.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I do too. I have so many T-shirts, and that's why I can't get rid of any. Because they're all they're like bookmarks of chapters of my life.
I don't like that one. We're grown adults, eh?
Yes, I know.
Like
we're not.
We're not 20-year-olds like frat guys.
No.
Wendy says,
sure fooled me.
You should switch to instant.
Instant coffee?
She did an LOL. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes!
I think Wendy drinks instant.
Yeah, we had covered that. I think one time she mentioned that. She, the cat's mother. Yeah, we should get a meow on that soundboard of ours, of mine. Oh, there it is again, Matt Carter. I keep clicking that. It's just in the positioning of my screen.
Can you just delete that, please?
No, because if ever we have another phone customer.
Well, take out the Matt Carter.
Jen, I don't tell you how to flip burgers, so stay out of my job.
If I flip burgers too often and at the wrong time, you might have to tell me how to flip burgers.
Come on. Hey. Whoops.
Oh my God, what is happening right now?
I'm losing my mind. It's because it's titled the same thing.
And now,
oh my
Julien
God.
Hey.
Is it frozen? Oh, hello? I actually thought it was frozen. You got me. Turbulence face. One time we were on an airplane and we just hit a patch of turbulence, and I turn around and Jen's like this. Like a cartoony wide mouth, like so much. So now when she does that years later, we refer to it as turbulence face. Thank you.
Daily dose, get the news from coast to coast. Daily dose, all your news from coast to coast.
All the news and headlines from Jen Grant.
We're like that couple that like flirts and tickles themselves. Hee ha ha.
Oh my God. Ew.
That started fake but ended real.
Ew.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Okay, can I just say for the record?
Go ahead.
that this will be a choppy, not great daily dose.
You fuck off!
It's going to be reading. Sorry.
Reading?
Sorry.
I want the manager!
But I'll be careful with it. It's because I got on the phone with my sister, and anyway, it's Tessa's fault.
So here we go.
Some
Reading.
high-ranking Ontario. No, I'm going to be
you
good.
never say high-ranking in your real life.
Listen, Ontario
that knows.
politicians and some healthcare organizations are issuing warnings ahead of a bunch. See, I would have said a bunch of protests expected to take place at hospitals across Canada today.
Hospitals?
Yeah, have you heard of this?
No.
So an organization called the Canadian Frontline Nurses posted notices of silent vigils, in quotes, expected to take place in all 10 provinces, saying they're meant to critique public health measures put in place to curb the spread of COVID-19. I don't really understand. So
What do you mean you don't understand? They're protesting the health measures. The health.
Yeah, but why? Who's protesting?
They are.
Who?
The protestors.
What?
The protesters.
Yeah, who are they protesting against, though?
Against
the government?
The hospitals. Why? I don't know.
Organizers say they want to take a stand against what they call
Farley just jumped. We just have cats flying everywhere.
Tyrannical measures and government overreach, adding that they are not encouraging nurses to walk out on their shift or abandon patients. But Ontario Premier Doug Ford. See, I wouldn't normally say that. I would just say Doug Ford.
Exactly.
Doug Ford, whose province was among those targeted by similar past protests.
Province? You would just say Ontario.
I know.
You wouldn't say Premier Doug Ford, whose province has been targeted.
Anyway, the Registered Nurses Association strongly condemning the planned disruptions and calling for designated safe zones around healthcare facilities. So nurses, doctors, and other healthcare workers have been working around the clock on the front lines of the pandemic for like a year and a half, helping to keep the community safe. These heroes need the resources and supports to continue the battle now in the thick of a fourth wave. So I guess we can't deny, I guess the fourth wave is really happening. They cannot...
Are we in it or it's about to happen?
So. I don't know. I think we're in it now. They cannot and must not be distracted or worse, discouraged by protests at the doorsteps of their workplace. So... past protests have centered on both public health measures and the prospect of proof of vaccination systems that would limit access to many public settings for those who have been immunized against COVID. BC's system takes effect on Monday, while Ontario's is set to launch on, September 22nd.
I don't understand what's going on right now.
Well, I think there's going to be protests, and the hospitals have had to... You know what? It's really annoying because... they're worried about the protests distracting from the hospital, distracting the hospital. I think that in conjunction with people who are not vaccinated, who are taxing the system, when other people who really need it, who have been vaccinated and have surgeries planned and care and everything, are not getting the treatment they need.
Yeah.
It's like, something should be done. Says the mayor of Toronto, John Tory, is condemning any participation in a protest at hospital doors. So I guess it's an anti-vax rally that's planned at the Toronto General Hospital today, warning that police are prepared to arrest anyone who blocks ambulance access to the facility. Like, are we living in the craziest time right now?
It's pretty crazy. We're going to look back and it's going to feel insane.
I know.
Even just the shows it already does, actually. If I think back of like early pandemic, like last month or last year, I mean, and like the first months of it, there was no vaccine in sight, no end in sight. Everything was like, it was crazy. And it still is, but it's a different crazy. But we'll look back on this crazy this year.
I know.
And it'll be insane. But think of, yesterday I was talking to another comic in the green room. Last time I saw him was August of last year in Terrebonne. I should do the English accent in Terrebonne. And that was our first show in like 5 months last August, and that was such weird times. That one I felt nervous every time I went out. That would like going out pre-vaccine was scary. Like now that I think about it, like it was in the moment, but back like looking back, it was every time I was like, for like 14 days after anything I did, I'd be like, did I get it? I'd take breaths like
Yeah, and that kind of stuff really it's taxing.
Yeah.
Says we all have the right to protest, but abusing that right in order to harass people outside a hospital and spread misinformation about vaccines in the middle of the pandemic is unacceptable and beyond the pale. That's what Tori said. What is beyond the pale?
What does that mean?
I know.
It's an act. What does it mean? I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Says in a post on social media, Toronto police reiterated this sentiment, saying that while they respect everyone's right to peacefully protest, hospital operations and public safety cannot be disrupted in any way. Officers will be present and monitoring, and charges will be laid where warranted. So I'll be curious to see what happens out of this, because anti-vaxxers, I'm going to make a blanket statement, and I'm not going to say every one of them is like this, but I am guessing that many anti-vaxxers that are in that crowd are going to act irrationally. And write your letters if you want. I don't care. I think some shit's going to go down.
Outside the bounds of acceptable behavior, beyond the pale. Yeah, some shit's going to go down.
Like that Capitol riot there that happened. I'm going to guess that over 90% of those people were anti-vaxxer type people.
Right.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Probably.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, society.
Well, I don't know. With Trump, because Trump is they're all Trumpers, and Trump is pro-vaccine.
Now.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
But he was barely wearing a mask back then.
Yeah.
And wasn't very open and expressing that he was wanting to get vaccinated. Don't you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, blah, blah, frickin' blah. So, Canada's immigration minister said yesterday that we have now helped more than 140 Afghans make their way overland to Pakistan, one of the few routes that is open to those who want to leave the country and have special Canadian visas. A spokesperson for Immigration Minister Marco Mendicino added that these refugees will be on their way to Canada within days or weeks. The Khyber Pass, it's called, a mountain pass on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan, is currently a jammed jumble of trucks, people, goods, Pakistani soldiers, and now Taliban gunmen. Can you even imagine?
No, like we just see a little bit of it, but it's just constant 24/7 chaos there. Think about it.
Like
Middle of the
literally
night,
don't know if
anytime,
you're
just
going to
people
die.
Trying to leave. I know.
Yeah. Until a few weeks ago, it was the Afghan army that controlled their side of the border, but now it's Taliban fighters giving the orders. Under the white flag of the Taliban, border guards from both countries stand just steps apart, controlling the mass of trucks going back and forth, as well as the crush of Afghans desperate to leave. A Taliban fighter said that those who have a visa can leave or come whenever they want, but most Afghans waiting in line will be turned back, as only those with travel documents for another country will make it across. Ugh. You know, when I started Yuck Yucks, I think I've definitely told you this story. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast, but when I started, is that the same as the university?
Yeah.
When I went to university, I went across the seas to the Middle East. But when I started Yuck Yucks years ago, there was a bartender, nice guy, and from Iran, and he told me a story for a year I would go into the club and chat with him, not realizing his history. He escaped Iran.
Mm-hmm.
His parents paid someone, I don't know, 20 grand to help their son get out of Iran. And he had to, during the night, escape through the mountains.
Yeah.
And it's like, literally, I can never complain about anything again. I'm not going to. There, I said it. You're quitting caffeine. I'm quitting complaining.
Okay. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? If I can only complain.
That's awesome.
If I'm escaping Iran. There. Okay. Britney Spears announced her engagement yesterday. Wow. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was.
Why
like
didn't
almost...
you recognize it? Oh, it just need to be faster. Okay, go.
You go.
Oh, no. Let's start over. Erase. Oh, that was good. Okay, ready? Me.
It is. You're just flat a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jenny. We got to get Tammy on here.
Britney Spears announced her engagement yesterday to boyfriend Sam. What?
Who cares?
Agari. You don't care?
About Britney Spears' engagement? No.
Displaying a diamond ring engraved with the word lioness. The news came days after her father filed to end the court conservatorship. Oh, that seems suspect. Because the man, her fiance, is like, oh, so you have control over your money again? Sounds interesting. Let's get married so I can have half of whatever you have. Because if her father kept controlling her money, he wouldn't be able to get half that money.
Right.
I hope I don't see this story on Dateline. Quickly, a Florida judge has canceled the trial for rock icon Rod Stewart.
What happened with Rod Stewart?
I'm just about to read it here.
Oh, you don't know?
A Florida judge has canceled the trial for... Well, can I read it?
Yeah, yes.
For Rod Stewart and his adult son. And schedule. I love how you have to mention he has an adult son because even though he's 80, he could be married to a 20-year-old who just gave birth to a newborn.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably has a 4-year-old somewhere.
He
there.
probably does. But any other story, no one would be like, wait. Does that 80-year-old have an adult son or a newborn?
Are we talking Rod Stewart's 57-year-old son or his 9-month-old?
And he could even have one older, Jules. That's what's scary.
His 80s, yeah. Are we talking about his 64-year-old son or his 9-month-old?
Honestly, I'm going to find out after the story. I'm going to Google what is. Okay. So, anyway, he's canceled the trial for Rod Stewart and his son, scheduled... has canceled the trial for... I know, and scheduled a hearing next month to discuss a plea deal to resolve charges stemming from a New Year's Eve altercation with a hotel security guard nearly 2 years ago. Court records show the hearing with Judge August is a nice first name, Bonavita, is set for October 22nd regarding a plea agreement to close the case without them needing to appear in court. The trial was scheduled and... Anyway, if convicted, the Stewarts were facing a year in jail or probation.
I like when you read because you get surprised in the middle of the thing.
Yeah,
if you had read that already, you would just state it as fact. They had faced a year in jail. But reading it, you're like, facing a year in jail. It's like an audiobook.
The Stewarts' battery charges have taken long to resolve because of the pandemic. And the London-born singer, I wouldn't normally say that, of the 70s hit, we all know what he wrote. Stop it. Stewart and his son are accused of pushing and shoving a security guard, Jesse Dixon, at the upscale, the Breakers Hotel. Jeez.
Sorry.
Because
of his name.
He couldn't... What?
Because of his name.
What?
The security guard?
Jesse Dixon? Dick?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Because he wouldn't let them into a New Year's Eve party.
Oh, yeah.
The security guard told Palm
Classic.
Beach police officers that the Stewart and Rod Stewart and his... Hey, I'm almost done. It's taking longer because you're doing that. No, I'm not. I'm doing a good job. I'm doing better than you.
No, you're doing a great job. Better than me at what? Podcasting?
Reading.
Oh, reading, yes.
Podcasting.
Absolutely.
Jeez. Okay. Someone's got a bit of a insecurity about their podcasting.
What are you talking about? No, I didn't know what you
were like.
meant.
What do you mean I'm terrible at podcasting?
Not everything has an underlying thing to study and think of in a root cause. I just meant what are we talking about so we're on the same page? What do you mean? That's what I meant.
Can we acknowledge the fact that Farley is in the studio? It's kind of... Anyway, so that's it. That's your daily dose. Wrapping her up.
No, it was great. You did an awesome job. It's just funny because you're reading, but the footnotes and so low. You're anyways. Yeah.
No, go. Just.
Hey, come on. 2, 3, 4.
Daily dose. Get the news from coast to coast. Daily dose. All your news from coast to coast.
All the news and headlines from Jen Grant.
Looks like I have water in my ear. Okay, let's go right to our guest. Thank you, Jenny, by the way. That was amazing. as always. So let's get to our guest. I will admit her in the room. And here she is. Here we go with Tammy. Hey, can you see it? We can see you. We
Hi,
can
Tammy.
hear you. Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can Tammy see me?
Welcome to the show.
Yes, I can.
Now,
Okay.
now you're seeing what you were seeing on the screen earlier, where the both of us
Okay, great.
are sitting there.
Because the other day Matt couldn't see me, so I was just wondering. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, no. Today we're on. Hey, Tammy, how are you? It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
It's been a long time. Tammy and I have known each other for many years. We worked together. Oh, listen, I have a bubble in my throat.
Oh yeah, get it out there. Get it out of there.
We met my first job. I quit my day job at Assumption Mutual Life in Moncton for comedy, and I wanted like a side job or whatever. And I worked at Rouge. Again, I'm doing that English accent thing. Why do I do that? Rouge. I worked at
You're
the
trying
Rouge.
to fit in with other English people or
I am.
something. Like I'm just English.
I know, it's an insecurity thing.
So wait, where did you guys work together?
Rouge.
At Rouge.
Yes. And so, and Tammy was the sommelier there.
Ah.
Yeah. So
say it if you were saying it to a French person. How would you say it?
I would say sommelier. With
Nice.
that at the end.
Ooh.
Every time. I'm always impressed with sommelier because it's way more extensive than people know, right? It's like harder to get than. Can you explain to us a little bit what is the process of being certified sommelier?
Yeah, certainly. So it's when I started, I was managing a restaurant called Pestali in Moncton. It doesn't exist anymore, but basically, I didn't know how to explain to people and have the right terms about wine. So I said, well, I'll take the sommelier course because it's a 3-level. And I said, I'll take the first one just to have the base and see how it goes. And at first, I'm just like, because there's all kinds of levels, right? The people that are in that course. So then you're looking at them going, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm a nut, like really. But at the end, I mean, it's practice and it's learning the different regions and grapes and tasting and listening to the ones that know more, and then just learning as you go. And it's about a 9-month process.
Oh wow,
9 months, yeah.
But it's not every day. It's like a certain period of time per week. And the test at the end is really a blind tasting of about 10 wines. You have to describe it from A to Z, tell what country it is and what vintage it is.
No
So
way,
it's,
blind.
pretty intense.
Wow, that's
whoa.
So just blind, you have to say the region and the. I couldn't even tell you the grape blind or anything.
And-
I couldn't even tell you red or white blind. I think.
And were you able to do it, Tammy?
Yeah. I graduated. Oh my God, that's almost 15 years ago now.
Would you be able to do it now, do you think?
Well, not as good because I don't practice enough. It's all about practice
Oh, yeah?
and keeping your taste buds and your sense of smell. And you have to look at it too, right? Because the color tells you a lot about the wine as well. So practice makes perfect as anything else. And you'll never know everything about wine because it evolves and changes and every vintage is different. So if I try the same wine a year after, or because of the climate or the temperature and everything else, it could be very different. So it's a learning process for sure.
I love any job that's like, you need to practice drinking wine more. You need to practice. That's your problem. You don't practice drinking it enough.
Yeah.
And they're like, spit it out after. What? I quit. Forget it.
Yeah, do you have to spit it out after every time? I know that's a question you probably get a lot and an annoying one, but people are always like, because when you go to like the wine
I
fest
don't
or
find that
whatever.
annoying. I mean, for us, I want to know that too.
Yeah, no, it's better to like, especially if you taste many, like you do get a buzz and then you can't really, you can't really focus. But yeah, you do spit and you kind of get the gist of what it is. But if you continue drinking, like
it does make sense. Like by the 10th taste, you're like trying boxed wine. Like, this is delicious.
Yeah. Well, in Moncton, is it the Wine Fest? What's it called? Is it Wine Fest?
The Wine Food Expo, yeah.
Right, and at the Moncton Coliseum, and you go around and you taste all these wines, and that's the idea is you spit it out or whatever, and then you can buy them or whatnot. But yeah, we would go to that thing and of course not spit the wine and just try to get through all of them and never make it through, and then just end up vomiting in the parking lot, like the opposite of what you're supposed to get from it. We were like, we saw it like a pub crawl. We were like, it's the Wine Expo. Let's go get blackout drunk on after like a half hour. You just go from booth to booth and just be like, I'll have that one. Like you don't taste anything. You're
The
just,
people at the booth
shooting
must be like, look at these dipshits coming up. They don't give two craps about the wine.
Yeah. Jen, do you have a question about?
As a matter of fact, I do. Jules.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to know something, Tammy. I want to know, is it possible, and I want your honest answer. I don't want your diplomatic answer. I want your, from your heart, I want to know your actual opinion. Is it possible to make good homemade wine? Be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
what?
It won't be like, well, it depends on your palate, right? So whatever people are used to, some people are used to, like less complex wine. Some people are used to really complex wines. So it is possible to make good wine at home. It's just, you have to add like oak chips and to get more, texture and complexity and so on. So I'm not saying it's going to be the most fantastic wine, depending on your palate. Some people are going to like it as is, but there is a way to kind of work at it with like different techniques to kind of get it a little bit more complex and flavorful. But yes, it's possible, but it's art.
Yeah, art. If I understand you correctly, simple people like homemade wine. No. No.
Yeah. I tried that few that I was just like, oh, that's good for a homemade wine. Like
okay,
it has,
but you said it's good
and...
for a homemade wine. But have you ever tried a homemade wine and thought, oh, this is on par with like a $20 bottle from the liquor store? Ever?
I didn't really taste a lot of them because I don't have, a lot of people that I know make it. Like,
okay.
Right.
Okay. The ones that make it are really starters. So like the ones that, no, I didn't try a lot of them that were like, wow. Like it's,
okay.
Let me ask this way, because Jen is of the philosophy, and she has an album called "Nobody Likes Your Homemade Wine." Jen,
I'm a little biased.
Yeah,
the other
she
way.
subscribes to the philosophy that there's no such thing as good homemade wine. So let me ask you this: for your sommelier test at the end, for the blind test, is there a homemade one in there? Where they're like, for the region where they're like, oh, this is a garage. I'm getting a garage.
This one is from the region of Skaduk.
Yeah,
it has a hint of what would be from Skaduk?
From Pussy Willow.
Pussy Willow.
And I don't know.
Okay, well, I have a question. What's your go-to accessible like wine at the liquor store or country? Something that would be good for our viewers and listeners to hear, like a suggestion on a wine that won't break the bank, that is a good, easy guideline for people, like what country, percentage, that kind of thing. Because I know everywhere in Canada and the US, like we have listeners everywhere, but if you could give us kind of a real easy tip for people picking a wine that they don't want to spend a lot of money and it's going to be good.
I guess it depends because everybody has different palates, right? Some people like it really robust. Some people like it more fruity. Some people like it sweeter. So and people mix a lot the fruit and the sweetness. It's not the same thing.
Right.
But like it's really hard. And what happens in each province or each country, there's all kinds of different access to different wines. So what I'm going to suggest might not be in your store.
Right.
So it's really hard because everybody's a monopoly. Like most of Canada's a monopoly for liquor, except like Alberta and places like that. And there is some private stores, but it's a bit hard.
Right.
And like I said, like for me, I like, each country, there's wines I like. It depends on what I'm looking for. It depends on the weather. It depends what I'm eating. If it's rosé, white, sparkling, or red, like there's so many variables that for me to kind of say, okay, you should try this. Like I would have to have an hour and saying, oh, well, if you like sweet, you should maybe look at something like this. If you like dry, you should look something.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to suggest something like that just because of the variance in taste buds.
Yeah, unless you had a few like questions to ask beforehand, then you could kind of like go from there. But blind, I would
What's your
but
favorite
I get calls
wine?
all the time.
Yeah.
From friends, like they're at the liquor store. I'm eating this, or I'm looking for something like this. Then I just send them suggestions. So I'm kind of the Wikipedia for some friends. And my favorite wine, really. It all, like, as long as a wine's well balanced, I find that's not too acidic and not too flabby and not too, that's really complex and doesn't have a short finish. That's what I like. But to say I have a go-to I always try, like I went to Wolfville last week, sorry, where there's all kinds of wineries in Nova Scotia, and went to visit some of my members. And then I stopped at a few other ones. I went to visit 6, and I swear in the last 2 years, even the quality in the wines there just kind of expanded even better, because they're understanding the grapes, understanding the temperature, the terroir, like they know what to plant now. And it's a learning progress, right? But when you start from scratch with vines and it's an area that's harder to grow to, you need to do hybrids, and there's so much to learn, like when you grow wines, that now it's getting to the point, like I visited some that I tasted 10 years ago, and it's like 10 times better because they're understanding all of that. Right?
Oh, that's really cool. We went to,
really nice.
A couple years ago, we went to Lightfoot. Is that what it's called? Lightfoot?
Yeah, Lightfoot in Wolfville. Yeah.
It was so nice. And we sat outside. Jules, you weren't there for this, but I went with his family for lunch, and they have a pizza oven. And I find vineyards, you really feel like when you're at a vineyard, you feel like you're escaping. Like it feels like another country almost like perfectly manicured. It's like a golf course. You know, when you go to a golf course and everything is just so beautiful and perfect. We were sitting there I was like, where are we? Europe? Like it felt like we were outside amongst all the grapes. And I thought, oh man, to live here and to do this as a job would be definitely very challenging. But what a beautiful setting to live in.
I didn't want to leave.
Oh,
I was there for a day and a half, and I'm just like, I really have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
Good.
Were you there on business? Because now you're with Food and Beverage Atlantic. Could you tell our listeners what exactly that you do with Food and Beverage Atlantic?
Certainly. Yes, I was there for work. So with Food and Beverage Atlantic, I was always in food and beverage, and I was looking for something new because I was a wine rep, and then I was the executive director for the Shediac Lobster Festival as well. So I was doing the two,
right.
and had another festival creation, and I kind of like the entrepreneur side. So after a while, I'm just like, okay, I need something else. And then my friend, the Kilted chef, Alain Bossé, recommended me this opportunity that I didn't even know existed. So basically, Food and Beverage Atlantic, it's a nonprofit to help manufacturers of food and beverages. So anything that's transformed into a value add product. So we do a lot of food safety training to make sure, the food's safe to eat. We do a lot of trade missions in different countries to help them export. We do a lot of visibility, like the CTV What's for Dinner, so to showcase what we have in Atlantic Canada. We do Sobeys pitches, so trying to get products in Sobeys. So some companies would start in the farmers market, then grow slowly, and then want to get into the bigger retailers. So we help them, train them, say, what not to say, how to get ready. And then they try to pitch at Sobeys, and we had great success with that. We have over probably 30 companies now that got into Sobeys in Atlantic Canada because of our programming. So that's really good. So it's just helping them through the hurdles, making it easy for them to find connections, networking, packaging. There's so much to do, like the barcodes, the testing for your product to make sure it's shelf stable. So there's an array of stuff that they have to go through, plus the business plan, right? And making sure people will like it. And so we're there to help them along the way and facilitate all that. We have about 210 members now.
Yeah, cool. And like you, Tammy, I didn't even know that existed as kind of like the middleman or like a guiding entity for anyone that wants to bring a product to market. Considering that you're the side of the food industry that was, because you deal with a lot of hospitality and so on, how did the pandemic affect your business? Did you have to pivot? How did that look for you guys?
So on the hospitality, for me, it's more manufacturing. It's less the restaurants, but I still know what's going on because it did affect my members because some of them had really a niche with restaurants and hospitality, like oyster farmers and stuff like that. So basically, they had to pivot. They had to, either do sales online. They had to look at other markets, other ways of doing it. The boxes, like working together and created a box full of different local products and selling that online. So a lot of them pivoted, some of them really well and found new niches, and others, had a hard time and had to close. It's kind of a variety of things that happened, but, and some just, sat back and kind of, analyze their business again and kind of reinvent themselves or things like that. So it was hard on all of them, especially labor. Labor is the kicker right now in every business, not just manufacturing, but
Right.
it's really an issue. And I know you were talking earlier about immigrants from Afghanistan and stuff like that. Well, we need immigrants because they want to work certain jobs that maybe Canadians don't want to work. And they're not taking our jobs because we don't want them. We don't want those jobs. So like people have to realize that we do need, temporary foreign workers and things along those lines to help the industry. And then we're looking at food automation more. So we're training a lot educational about food automation to kind of help the companies grow and succeed, because like a lot of them, they have even the owners have to work in their lines because they can't even get employees.
Yeah,
So,
it is such a big issue that like immigration, that people are surprisingly often closed off to, especially in smaller areas. Like we're from New Brunswick, so people tend to be closed off to that idea more. But there's so many benefits that come with it. Like if you look at a place like actually back home, Capelé, back in the day, was just it's still a really just small place, but not very multicultural as a place. You wouldn't think Capelé, but now you have all these plants that have hired immigrants from all over the world, Mexico and South America and all. So now Capelé is like one of the most diverse little corners in the province, and it's awesome. You have these little restaurants that are popping up, these authentic, of various cuisines and cultures that you wouldn't otherwise be exposed to back there. So there are tons of positive.
Yeah, it's very positive. And I think a lot of people travel more than they used to, and they know the cultures now, and they know that kind of food. So I'm excited when everybody, like when they open these little shops or farmers markets or whatever, because then I'm just like, it's authentic food that we're eating. And especially during COVID where you can travel, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, die. I need to travel. But then we have these people that are creating these amazing foods and that we have access to that we wouldn't have before. Right. So it's really good.
Yeah, it's all great stuff. When you say you have over 200 members, is it your job to actively seek out and find new members, or do people find you? How does that work? How do you grow?
At first I was on the road 50% of my time in Atlantic Canada, and I was trying to find new members. Now with the diverse benefits that we now have like recommendations or referrals from government or other members, which is great. So now it's kind of a mix. Like it's, when I go to events, I'll talk about what we do and trying to get new members, but then we have referrals, which is amazing. So that's even better because, people are talking good about us, of how we can help and so on. So there's been a shift in the last 2 years for sure. But
when you say events, are those events that are put on by you guys, or are they events you just participate like all over the Maritimes or Atlantic provinces to kind of expand?
Yeah, it's a mix. We do a lot of events, a lot of training events, trade shows. We're the proponent for some of the provincial events too. So like we do capacity building for different provinces we did our first virtual show last June when COVID hit, because everything was live usually. And we were one of the first in Canada to do a virtual trade show through an awesome platform. It looked really like a booth, and people would go in and click on, a tech sheet to understand what your product was. You could chat, you could video chat with them. It was all online, but it was really interesting. Mm-hmm. So like things like that, like I would jump on and introduce myself and chat with people. And then like this week I went to one in Dieppe at the farmers market. It was Pal Pal Mange Mange. So it was a speaker on labor issues from the University of Moncton that spoke. And then we had booths with all tastings of different products. So just to name a few, like there's, barbecue sauce, there's maple syrup, dark maple syrup is the best. Yes. Sorry, I really like, but like it's all kiosks that you could try their products, really taste it, and really talk to them about what they do. And that was created by the farmers market, right? But I had like 10 members there, which was great. So it's a mix.
My sister and I have thought a couple times to, do something like that, like start a small business with start with, a sauce or a food product. But I have seen on Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, they always say how hard it is to start a business like that. It's an extremely competitive industry to create a sauce or something like that and get on the shelves. And there's a lot of, it's hard to get in and hard to really, because so many people want to do it. So what's your opinion on that?
So basically we kind of have a process with the Food Island Partnership, which is in PEI. So they help businesses too, in PEI only, but now there's a project we're doing at Atlantic, but basically it's like an Excel Propel program. So they put people through, like, example, oh, I make the best spaghetti sauce ever. I want to create a spaghetti sauce, just selling to friends kind of thing right now. And they think it's the bomb, but they go through like a process of like testing the product, looking at, the competitors and so on and so forth. It's kind of a business plan, if you want, to see if it's worth continuing with your idea. So, I mean, the main thing is you have to think outside the box. Like, you can't make a sauce that like everybody else does. So example, the barbecue sauce I just showed you, they partnered with the local breweries and have beer in each of the sauces. So, there's Brasseux de la Côte in there. There's, Cavoquet. There's all kinds of breweries across New Brunswick that they partnered with, and they make a different sauce with that different beer. So you just have to, be different, because if Sobeys looks at you and said, well, there's 10 hot sauces on the shelf or whatever the sauce, it's too competitive. You really need to stand out with packaging or the sauce as per se, that there's something different, a different flavor. Because like you said, it's really competitive.
Yeah, and like to see a need in the market, right? Like what do you call that? It's
gap.
A gap, yeah. Because we probably would have gone the plant-based route. And I think when you, my sister's been a vegan for 5 years now, and she really knows the frustration of trying to find certain products. So she'd had to make it herself. So that would be an example of maybe something happening organically where you, you create it because it doesn't exist. Like, you've tried to, but then when even people who are carnivores, non-plant-based people would eat her, like an Alfredo sauce, for instance, and they would not know the difference, or you wouldn't tell people, and then they'd really like it, stuff like that. That's when you go, oh, okay, well, I might have something here. But yeah, even then, I imagine it's still very challenging. Like, you have to really love what you're doing.
Yeah. And like the Sobeys pitches we do, they, like, a lot of them got in, but to stay on the shelf right now, you can't even do tastings, right? Because of COVID and everything. So basically, how do you get people to try it? Because you can't even do tastings in stores. So then you get dropped because you don't have the sales enough to be staying on the shelves.
That's hard.
So
yeah.
It's not just getting in it.
For
you have to think about the process after marketing, and what are you going to do to push your product so people try it, right?
And when it comes to, like, a lot of those kind of sauces are not cheap either, because you're using good ingredients and taking a risk. I mean, mind you, Sobeys probably has a really good return policy, but if you take a risk on like a $9 sauce, you're like, ugh, is this going to be... And then your whole meal kind of centers around it, and you're just like taking the chance. Like, I've been in the grocery store where I want to try it because it's got good ingredients. It's different, like you say, but then you get it and you're like, why didn't I just stick with, like, it might not have been as good, but I knew it was going to be better than this. And then, so it's a whole thing for sure. Your job sounds cool.
It sounds so cool. It makes me want to move back home.
It makes me want to apply for a job.
I want to move back home and go to food shows and wine expos and
let's do it.
Do stuff. Farmers markets.
I'm looking for an employee, and I want them to be based out of Newfoundland because they're so far and trying to get boots on the ground over there. And I'm having a hard time. Like, I'm doing interviews tomorrow, and we didn't get a lot of applicants. And I'm just like, really? Like, this is a good position.
It's a sweet job. Yeah. It's a sweet gig. Yeah. Because
we know someone in Newfoundland.
Who do we know?
Jean-Luc.
Oh yeah,
we should talk to Jean.
I wonder what to. Yeah, I'll talk to him. My nephew,
yeah.
my nephew, second cousin.
Well, he's kind of like a nephew.
Kind of like a nephew. Yeah. It feels like my cousin's son. But it's so fun. Like just hearing you talk, I just want to go to like vineyards and farmers markets and
Tammy, do you ever
food events?
Do you love and appreciate your job every day?
I love it. Like I was kind of skeptical at first when I applied, because I'm thinking, I don't know anything about export. I don't know about, and you doubt yourself. But I think because I was already helping some companies with my food tours I was doing back then, I was doing walking food tours and bus tours to kind of showcase what we had in Moncton and the surrounding areas. It was kind of the same thing, but just at a bigger scale, right? Because then we're going national, international. And then Claude, my fiance, said, you know what, you can do this. Like, stop, just go do the interview. And, if you get it, you get it. And I know you can do it. So I'm glad I did. So I think people have to believe more in themselves sometimes, because if you love, like what I do, I love food and wine and scotch and all this stuff. Like, everybody knows me as the foodie, right? So I'm posting pictures of food all the time, restaurants to support local. But I think if you love something so much, like you shouldn't even doubt yourself and go and run for it because you're passionate about it. And that's what people tell me. I'm really passionate. When I start talking, I get excited, and it's to share what I know about, good stuff in Atlantic Canada or Canada. So.
And is there a lot of room to grow within your industry? Like, is the sky the limit kind of?
For me, as my job per se, this, I don't think I would want to do anything else because I'm helping people. Just hearing their stories, how they started, what their next move is to try to help them to get there. I wouldn't want to do anything else. I don't think. Some friends are telling me oh, well, there's you could be a trade commissioner to help internationally and stuff like that. Maybe later on, maybe if I'm older, but right now I really like helping Atlantic Canada for sure.
I love that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you work with Matt Pennell at Some Good Food with Some Good Freezies? Was that a
That's what made me think about you guys, because he was on your show and he just joined about a month or two ago with us. So I'm helping him get through the hoops for different things. So I got 3 emails last week from Matt saying, okay, cool. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. So I'm helping him move along too. So I like that.
He's a great guy.
Great guy and great product. Some good freezies.
Oh, it's so good.
I ate I finished them. You probably noticed,
thanks.
Jen. I know. Sorry, I couldn't help. In one sitting, I had 5 or 6. They're just so good. I couldn't stop. And there were so many left over. I thought you weren't into them. So I'm I'll just polish off this box.
Maybe next time, just maybe ask me.
I probably should.
Yeah, thanks.
But go ahead.
Having a little fight.
I'm sure he'll send you more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything exciting coming up around Moncton in the next few months or weeks?
I know the wine show is supposed to go on. I don't know in what format yet, but there are talking a few shows coming up. So, I think, there's new restaurants that are really nice and good and, stepping up the game with local foods. But slowly but surely, I think the events are going to start in different capacities, maybe not the same format, but yeah.
Well, we want to encourage anyone in Atlantic Canada. Atlantic Canada is such a huge territory when you think about, when you said you're trying to find employees in Newfoundland. Newfoundland, the Maritimes versus the Atlantic provinces, it's such a big gap. Toronto's closer to Moncton than Newfoundland. It's just so huge. But we want to encourage anyone in Atlantic Canada, if you want to get into, if you've got a good food idea, as you said, and you don't know how to bring it to market, go to Food and Beverage Atlantic, and that goes for beverages as well. Does that include if someone has an idea for Jeff Taylor had that idea for he had an idea for freezies, but with alcohol. Do you guys deal with any alcohol kind of related stuff? If anyone has ideas for that,
we have all the wineries, distilleries, breweries.
Of course,
are our members
what am I
saying? Just the Sobeys pitch wouldn't work in that one because it's non-alcohol products for that program.
Right.
But Sobeys has a division for the alcohol programs too. So it all depends, yeah. But if it's always, like I said, you're going to get the most out of your membership by just asking questions and reaching out, and I can connect you with, I won't know everything, but I can connect you to the right people. And we made a lot of partnerships with different associations too. I was in Nova Scotia because of the Nova Scotia board and the AGM for grape growers. So we're trying to, partner more together so we can maximize the funds we get from government and so on, and really help the industry long term. So that's the goal.
And so I don't know if you answered this question already, but what did you, what's involved in becoming a member?
Basically, it's a yearly fee. It's really reasonable. Depending on how many employees you have is what gauges the price. Okay. So example, underneath 25 people, it's just $220 a year.
Okay.
And then you have access to a bunch and we have a newsletter with all the information, not just what we do, but everything from industry as much as we can. So you just have one-stop shop to find some information.
Oh, that's very reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, if it's more, well, it's 500, and then the higher levels, 1,200. And the other thing we're working on, I forgot to mention, is I call it the guidance tool, but basically it's a database with everything in Atlantic Canada. So if you're looking for blueberries to do a freezie like Matt is doing, well, you can go on and search who in Atlantic Canada sells blueberries, or funding, or co-packers, or,
that's great,
ingredients. But I was working on this for 2 years because when I started, I said, where's all the lists? Even government's asking me where, who do you know that co-packs? There was no list anywhere. So I was working on that. And finally, we realized that BC and Ontario had a co-packer portal. That's the only thing they had. And then I was talking about this, and all of a sudden during COVID, we hear that, because I'm on the board of Food and Beverage Canada as well. They're our lobbying partner. And the one in Quebec, similar to us, well, they created one. So now we're launching it national with Protein Industries Canada to have access to Canadian-wide. So example, if I can't find the amount of blueberries in New Brunswick, I can look in PI, I can look in Ontario, and it's going to be easier to navigate and find what you're looking for, instead of, because people don't have resources to spend friggin' 2 hours, like a week, to try to find information on the internet, right? Yeah. So we're trying to facilitate all that to make it easy. So that's really
great.
Good news.
And then if you also have it in your database, that would imply that you've like vetted them, you know about them, you know that they're legit. You know, if you're doing your own research, you don't really know.
Yeah, well, we don't really vet because it's hard to vet. Like, we'll put all the information in the database, and after that, like example, consultants, I can't vet everybody because it would take forever. And I'm the only employee right now. So basically what we do, we have a list of our members that are consultants and say, this is a list. What I would suggest is call a few, get a vibe to see if it would work with this person. Because you always get that vibe, right? If it's clicking or not or whatnot. That's what I suggest. And then go with the one that you feel.
Okay.
You know.
How many members do you have right now?
About 210 now.
Oh, nice. So it's growing.
Yeah, I started 2.5 years ago with 130-ish.
Okay. Oh,
so it's growing.
Cool. Great. Well, again, thank you so much,
Wait,
Tammy.
I have one more question.
Oh, you do? Oh, go ahead.
Goes.
Sure.
I have a couple comments. First of all, just wanted to share with you some comments. Wendy, one of our viewers, regular viewers and listeners, says what a great initiative she's involved in, sharing knowledge to help others in success, which is awesome. She said, great advice. And she also had a great question. She said, would you recommend a good wedding wine? Because we're getting married next summer. And we're looking for a good wedding wine, a good like red and white that would be on the table, something that would come from around your area, somewhere in the Moncton, New Brunswick-ish area. So do you have any suggestions on that?
Certainly. It's funny that you mentioned that because we're getting married on the 10th of October this year.
Oh, no way.
So yeah, we just decided like in June, like it wasn't even planned when we were getting married. We just got engaged a few years ago and said, whatever. Yeah. And then Claude's like, okay, why don't we get married in October? I said, oh, next year? He's like, no, in October this year. I said, what? I said, don't you have, like, we're renovating a triplex, like we're in full, super busy. But anyway, so yeah. So basically we're getting
Congratulations.
married.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So we're getting married at Magnetic Hill Winery. And as I mentioned earlier, like a lot of those wineries are really growing and learning about the grapes they're planting and getting new hybrids and really getting good at their craft. And the last ones I tried from Magnetic Hill, there's like about 4 or 5 new ones. They're really, really nice. Like we will never have a robust red wine in Atlantic Canada because our weather's not meant for that. So you'll always see that the reds are a little bit lighter style, either like a Pinot or Merlot light. That would be the gist of it because of the weather. I would strongly suggest looking at Magnetic Hill because of their new wines that just came out. Like they're made with grapes. They have some with fruit. So if you have guests that likes more the fruity, sweeter stuff, there's that too. So you get a mix of whatever. But I would strongly suggest Magnetic Hill Winery. And
what did you choose for your table for your guests?
Basically what I did, people have options to drink whatever they want for their wine, but their gift is a bottle of a red or white that they will choose on the way out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That's really nice. Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Congrats.
Yeah. That's going to be a nice environment to get. Thank you.
And that's coming up too. You'll be here before you know it. I think that's the way to do it. Like let's just get it done. Because we were going to get married in August this year. Well, no, it's because like you looked forward to it for so long. Not get it done, but I mean like, but you could plan these things forever. Yeah. Like you could just like nonstop. So when you set a deadline like that, you just not get it over with, but you know what I'm saying. Like it just forces you to get the ball in motion. Because we were supposed to get married in August of this year, and we decided in New Brunswick. So we decided last kind of minute, like in June, to postpone. Because we didn't want masks. We didn't know about the 2-week quarantine. Turns out we could have been married in October with no restrictions, but it was too last minute and it was too crazy. So August, yeah. So we pushed it to next year. So
it wasn't just that reason too. Like a lot of family members weren't coming because they were nervous about
travel.
Yeah, so it just felt not fun. Like it's
So anyway, we'll be doing it next year. But so congrats. And as I said, to anyone in Atlantic Canada who has a food idea or wants to get in the food industry, go to atlanticfood.ca and reach out. They're there to help, a one-stop shop, kind of to help you bring your idea to fruition, to market. And thanks again, Tammy. It was really great catching up. It's been a long time.
Yes. Thanks, Jens. Thanks, Julien. Wishing you all the best in the next few months. And
thank you. Hope to see you. Yeah, one of these visits down.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah, for sure. And if we don't talk to you before October, happy wedding day, and congrats again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Bye.
Thanks so much. There
Thanks
she goes.
For chatting. Bye.
Tammy Brideau of Atlantic Food or Beverage and Food Atlantic, or Food and Beverage Atlantic. There she goes. And as I said, go to atlanticfood.ca. I want to say Atlantic Food all the time, but it's Food and Beverage Atlantic. Because the website is atlanticfood.ca.
Maybe I'll find a link right now and do it. So it's Food and Beverage Atlantic?
Yeah, but it's the website is atlanticfood.ca.
Oh.
Yeah. And so there it is. I think the cool kids call it Atlantic Food, but officially it's Food and...
Oh, well, I want to be cool.
Yeah. Anyway. That was really interesting. That sounds like a fun gig.
Yeah,
imagine just traveling the provinces, the Atlantic provinces, and going to vineyards and farmers markets and food events and wine shows.
I know. Sounds great.
It made me miss home talking to her. It was,
I know. Let's move there.
Used to miss doing those things. I miss doing those things out there with people you know and love. So as you know, we've talked about many times before, I have no friends here in life.
Well, we have some, but Wendy says batting 1,000 with your great guests and interview skills.
Oh, thank you so much.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's very
Wendy.
nice. Round of applause for us.
Round of applause for you, Wendy.
Yeah. Well, Chenzi Poo.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I think we're ready to wrap her up, and we'll see you all tomorrow. We have a full week this week.
We do have a full week. Are we missing any days? Hold on. Monday, Tuesday. Do I have any shows? I've got Thursday night. I feel like I've got stuff this week, but...
I think we're doing a full week, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday, full week of shows.
That was like so slow motion or
I know,
something.
it's because I was trying to I'd get to the thing before... oh, this one is slow motion, you mean?
And what you did.
Oh.
It just felt like the whole thing.
Well, you can't win them all, Jen. You cannot win them all.
Them all. Oh, God. I thought we were going to dodge the song.
Oh, just when you thought you could get away from it, you turn away and it's here for you. Song of the day.
It's kind of like life. You want to avoid it, but there it is, staring you right in the face. You gotta work out even though you don't want to. You gotta pay that bill, pay the school tax, get to work, do your shit.
This song, doing these improvised songs are a lot like working out, as you said, cause I never want to do it, ever want to do it. And I'm often sore afterwards with a bruised ego. Come on,
boy.
2, 3 songs are not easy. These songs.
Gonna just say that maybe we should always have guests on Monday because I think it gave us a skip in our step. I feel like it gave us some energy. Usually Mondays are dragging so hard.
Yeah, well. Funny you should mention that because the goal is to have guests almost every day, since Monday is a day that would definitely include Monday. Guest every day.
Guest every day.
Guest every day. Okay, this song sucks. Can we move on?
Let's just wrap her up, I think.
Wrap her up. Let's go for the close. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a great stay.
It's the Monday song. Monday morning is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. From now on, this is the most time you'll have between now and next Monday morning, so enjoy it. Monday morning is over, ladies and gentlemen. Shut up. Shut up and go for the close. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to our guest, Tammy Brideau. Brideau. Thanks to you, Jen.
Thank you.
I
You know
agree.
what?
Having guests does add a little something to our steps.
Little,
little pep to our step. Little hop to our bounce. Little skip to our jaunt.
Okay.
Well, last day on coffee, so tomorrow might not be as agreeable as today.
Oh, God.
I wonder what time my dentist appointment is tomorrow. I have to find out. Because last time when I booked the dentist appointment,
We
we were
didn't
still
do our shows,
we were still
yeah.
doing the show at 7 a.m. So I wonder what time I shit.
Do they email? I think they email you usually.
Yeah, they will. But I mean, it might affect the show tomorrow.
I know. Why don't you check right now your email?
I haven't gotten anything. It would have beeped. No, I didn't get anything.
All right.
So we might be here tomorrow, or I might be in a dentist chair.
Well, we could
getting
always
my gums massaged.
do a different time too.
Yeah, we could do a different time. All right.
Maybe we could do an earlier one tomorrow.
All right.
Just
well,
for a special event. We'll let you know on the
just
Instagram
stay tuned.
page and
yeah, go on Instagram. Follow us at The Julien Dionne Show with Jen Grant. Go to the Julien Dionne Show with JenGrant.com. Like the Facebook page. Subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms and on YouTube. Hit that little bell. Jen, I love you.
Love you.
We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. And until then, watch your motherfucking head. Oh, sweet.
It's just a waste of time.
2, 3.
A beautiful waste of time.
Mariah or Yoko
Just
tomorrow.
A waste of time. The whole world wants a piece of my head, but they all get a piece of my mind instead. I roll over and go back to bed. It's such a beautiful waste of time. A waste of time. A beautiful waste of time. It's just a waste of time. A beautiful waste of time. It's just a waste of time. A beautiful waste of time. It's just a waste of time.
Definitely include Monday guest every day. Forever. Like you could just like nonstop. So when you
It's not just getting in. I mean, the main thing is you have to.
Shark Tank, they always say how hard it is.
Even the quality in the wines there just kind of expanded even better because they're understanding the grapes, understanding the temperature, the terroir, like they know what to plant now. And it's a learning